Hey guys, it is me Jacqueline. For today's video. I'm going to be showing you guys my completed series. I have 19 series to show you guys. I'm very excited. I have bigger series, I have trilogies, and I actually have a duology as well, so let's get started. The first series I have to show you guys needs no introduction, and that is the Hunger Games trilogy by Suzanne Collins. The first book is the Hunger Games. I gave this a 5 out of 5 stars. The second book is Catching Fire. I also gave this a 5 out of 5 stars. And then the last book is Mockingjay. I gave this a 3 out of 5 stars. These are all by Suzanne Collins. You guys know these books very well. I think my favorite in the series is actually Catching Fire. I remember reading this trilogy and falling in love with it, and then all my hopes and dreams got destroyed in this book, just saying. Overall, I would give this trilogy a solid 4 out of 5 stars. It's just so hard for me to give it a full 5 because of this last book, but these first two books, oh my goodness. I was obsessed with dystopian after this. I think a lot of people got into dystopian because of this trilogy, and definitely an iconic trilogy to say the least. The next series I have is actually the first series I ever read. It is such an important series to me, and that is the Twilight Saga. I know there are 5 books because I included the special 10th anniversary edition at the end. But the first book is Twilight. I actually gave this a 4 out of 5 stars. The second book is New Moon. I am still pissed about this edition. I remember I lost my original copy and then my parents got me the movie edition, and it's just ew. But I gave that a 3 out of 5 stars. Then I have Eclipse. This is the most beat up copy of a book I own. It is disgusting. I gave this a 4 out of 5 stars though. And then we have Breaking Dawn, which is another beat up copy. I did not treat my books well back in the days, but I gave this a 4 out of 5 stars. Then the other book is Twilight Reimagined, and that is Life and Death. I gave this a 4 out of 5 stars, and I think this is more of like a companion to the series. I give so much credit to this series. This is the series that got me into reading. If it wasn't for this series, I wouldn't be here on BookTube, and I wouldn't have all these books behind me, because before getting into this series, I actually hated reading. If you guys would like me to talk about my reading journey, I got requested to do that, but yes, I give so much credit to this series. I love this series forever and always. I want to reread it so bad because I haven't read it in the longest time. I think overall I would give this series a 4 out of 5 stars. The next series I have is one of my ultimate favorites. I have to give so much credit to this series, and that is the Mortal Instruments series by Cassandra Clare. I absolutely love this series. This is definitely a 5 out of 5 star rating series for me. It is a 6-book series. You guys know I love it. I'm not going to ramble about it too much because I talk about it excessively. It's one of my favorites. Then speaking of the Mortal Instruments, the next series I have is the Infernal Devices trilogy by Cassandra Clare. This is my all-time favorite trilogy. All of these, 5 out of 5 stars. The first one is Clockwork Angel, the second one is Clockwork Prince, and the third one is Clockwork Princess. Clockwork Princess is actually one of my all-time favorite books. But you guys know how much I adore this series. I talk about it yet again way too much on my channel, but I just love Cassandra Clare. The next trilogy I have, I don't know if it technically counts. I'm just going to mention it because it definitely does kind of fall back to the other trilogy I just mentioned, and that is the Infernal Devices trilogy mangas. I gave them all 5 out of 5 stars. I mean, obviously my favorite trilogy in manga form. I'm going to love it. The next series I have is the Anna and the French Kiss Companion Trilogy by Stephanie Perkins. First we have Anna and the French Kiss, and I gave this a 5 out of 5 stars. Then we have Lola and the Boy Next Door, which I also gave a 5 out of 5 stars. And then we have Isla and the Happily Ever After, which I also gave a 5 out of 5 stars. I think the romance is so cute. I think these books are so easy to get into. Whenever I am in a reading slump, I will pick up one of these books. They are my go-to books to get out of a reading slump. Every time I read them, I fall in love with them again, and definitely a 5 out of 5 star series for me. The next series I have is the Luck series by Jennifer L. Armentrout. You guys know how much I love this series. One of my ultimate favorite series by one of my favorite authors. I love this series for so many different reasons. I love the characters, I love her writing. I think these books go by so incredibly fast. It is a 5-book series, and that includes Obsidian, Ionics, Opal, Origin, and Opposition. I gave them all 5 out of 5 stars. This is a 5 out of 5 star series for me. You just feel like you're in a reading slump, I would highly actually recommend picking up this series because they go by real fast. The next series I have is actually also by Jennifer L. Armentrout, and that is the Dark Elements series. This is actually a trilogy, and the first book is White Hot Kiss. I gave this a 5 out of 5 stars. The second book is Stone Cold Touch. I gave this another 5 out of 5 stars. Then the last book in this trilogy is Every Last Breath. I think the reason I love this trilogy so much is the same reasons I love the Lux series. Jennifer L. Armentrout just has amazing characters, and her books go by so incredibly fast. This trilogy has sort of a unique element to it, and that is it is about gargoyles, which is so unique and so interesting. Then the next series I have is the Iron Face series by Julie Kagawa. I read these such a long time ago, but still I think about them all the time. The first book is The Iron King. I gave this a 4 out of 5 stars. And then the second book is The Iron Daughter. I gave this yet again a 4 out of 5 stars. The third book in this series is The Iron Queen, and I gave this a 5 out of 5 stars. The last book in this series is The Iron Knight, and I gave this a 4 out of 5 stars. I think in general I would give this series a 4 out of 5 stars. I feel the setting of this world is what really sets this series apart to other ones I have read. This setting is one of my favorite fantasy settings. It is so imaginative and so beautifully done. I do enjoy these characters as well. I think the plot is fascinating, and these are very fast-paced books. The next series I have is the Shadowfall series by Cece Hunter. This is more of a paranormal series. The first book in this series is Born at Midnight, and I give this a 4 out of 5 stars. The second book is Awake at Dawn, and I also gave this a 4 out of 5 stars. The third book in this series is Taken at Dusk, and I yet again gave this a 4 out of 5 stars. The fourth book is Whispers at Moonrise, and I gave this a 4 out of 5 stars. And then the last and final book is Chosen at Nightfall, and I gave this a 5 out of 5 stars. This is a 4 out of 5 star series for me. I think these books are so incredibly funny, which really does set it apart. Also, I think the different paranormal aspects makes it kind of unique. I know she has a companion trilogy to this series, which is Shadow Falls After Dark. I have the first 2 books up there. I need to get onto that series because I did love this one so much. The next trilogy I have is the Shatter Me trilogy, and this is by Tahari Mafi. The first book in the trilogy is Shatter Me, and I gave this a 4 out of 5 stars. The second book is Unravel Me, and I gave this a 5 out of 5 stars. And then the third book is Ignite Me, and I gave this a 5 out of 5 stars. I love this trilogy for the writing, I love the characters, I love the relationships, and I found this trilogy to actually go by very fast. I would definitely recommend it. I know it's more of a dystopian. I would say this is a 4.5 out of 5 star series for me. The next trilogy I have is the Under the Never Sky trilogy by Veronica Rossi. I have actually a whole entire separate review video for this entire trilogy. It is non-spoilery, so if you want to know all about it, I will leave it on the screen as well as down below. This trilogy is amazing. It is a 5 out of 5 star trilogy rating for me. I gave all of these books 5 out of 5 stars. The first book is Under the Never Sky, the second book is Through the Ever Night, and then the third book is Into the Still Blue. Veronica Rossi's writing style is amazing. I love these characters and I love the world she created. It is so fascinating, so unique, and if you haven't picked this trilogy up, please pick it up. It is so well done. The next series I have is the Unearthly series, and this is by Cynthia Hand. This is a series that I feel like I never talk about. It is about angels. I think it's very character based and very relationship based, but I had a lot of fun reading this series. The first book is Unearthly. I gave this a 4 out of 5 stars. The second book is Hallowed, and I also gave this a 4 out of 5 stars. And then the third book is Boundless, and I gave this a 3 out of 5 stars. I felt that when I read this book, I just could not get into it, and I feel like because of that, this whole entire trilogy kind of suffered. I would give this a 3.5 out of 5 stars. It was a lot of fun to read. I remember the first 2 books I flew by, but this last book I was left a little bit disappointed in, and it was just so hard for me to really get into. I definitely want to reread this trilogy again because I want to see how I would like it now, because the first time I read this trilogy was 3 years ago. The next series I have is Penryn and the End of the Days, and this is by Susan E. I really enjoyed this series. I know originally it was supposed to be a 5-book series, but it did only wrap up in a trilogy format, so 3 books instead of 5, but still, I was pleasantly surprised by this last book. I thought I was going to hate the way it ended, but I'm actually very satisfied. I would give this series a 4.5 out of 5 star rating for me. The first book, Angel Fall, I loved. I gave it a 5 out of 5 stars. The second book, World After, I gave a 4 out of 5 stars, and then the third book, End of Days, I also gave a 4 out of 5 stars. Each of these books only took me a couple of hours to read. They are extremely fast-paced. I love these characters. I think they're so unique. I think the actual world and the whole idea behind it is unique with the angel apocalypse. If you are interested, definitely recommend picking this series up. The next series I have is the Darkest Minds series, and this is by Alexander Bracken. First book is the Darkest Minds. I gave this a 5 out of 5 stars. The second book is Never Fade. I gave this a 5 out of 5 stars. And then the third book is In the Afterlight. I think now that I'm thinking of it, I would give this a 4.5 out of 5 stars. I think I would give this whole entire trilogy a 4.5 out of 5 stars just because the last book I wasn't completely satisfied. The next series I have is definitely one of my top 5 favorites. I absolutely adore this series, and that is the Winners Trilogy by Marie Rutkoski. I love it so much. So much. I'm actually going to be doing a non-spoilery book review for this series, so I'm not going to talk about it too much. This series is very politically driven. The characters are phenomenal. The world is amazing, and I love the writing. So spectacular. If you haven't picked this series up, I would highly recommend it. The first book is The Winner's Curse. I gave this a 5 out of 5 stars. The second book is The Winner's Crime, and I gave this a 5 out of 5 stars. And then the last book is The Winner's Kiss, and I gave this a 5 out of 5 stars. The next series I have is the Summer series, and this is by Jenny Han. The first book is The Summer I Turned Pretty. I gave this a 3 out of 5 stars. The second book is It's Not Summer Without You. I gave this a 4 out of 5 stars. And then the third book is We'll Always Have Summer, and I gave this also a 4 out of 5 stars. I think this is a nice contemporary trilogy. I think overall I would give it a 3.5 out of 5 star rating. It was easy to read. I liked the characters, kind of. They weren't my favorite, but it was entertaining to say the least, and I did fly through these books. The next series I have is the Here and Now series, and this is by Lexi Ryan. The first book is Lost in Me. I gave this a 4 out of 5 stars. The second book is Fall to You. I also gave this a 4 out of 5 stars. And then the third book is All for This, and I also gave this a 4 out of 5 stars. This was just such a fun, entertaining trilogy. It is a new adult trilogy. It went by so fast. I was sort of addicted, and I needed to find out what was going to happen. It was very character driven, but I had a lot of fun. I would give this series overall probably a 3.5 as well, just because even though I gave all of these books individually 4 out of 5 stars, in general, it's not one of like my favorite series. The next series I have is actually a duology, and that is the Clipped Wings duology, and this is by Helena Hunting. The first book is Clipped Wings. I gave this a 4 out of 5 stars, and then the second book is Inked Armor, and I gave this a 5 out of 5 stars. I love these characters. I love the romance. I love how different elements kind of come out of nowhere. It is more of a new adult contemporary pick, I would say, but I really enjoyed it. I would give this duology a 4.5 out of 5 stars. So those are currently all the completed series I have read. I know for a lot of these series I mentioned I didn't exactly go into detail about why I love them or what they're about, but if you guys would like a separate book review for any of the series I mentioned, I will definitely do that, so let me know down below in the comments. I just wanted it to be very quick, very fast, and just kind of mention the series I have read and what I thought about them. But if you guys would like to see them in more detail, I could definitely do separate videos. That is it for this video, guys. Let me know down below what series you have completed and what you thought of the series I read, and I will see you guys later. Bye!